probably tell them that that's the most deceptive, like the most misunderstood scripture in the whole Bible, because that has nothing to do with just anything. It has to do with deciding on judgment. So you should tell them that.
That would be a good thing to communicate to them. Like I said, I don't communicate with them.
Okay.
I really don't.
So
a lot of times, if they were to run across, and I'll use you as an example, anytime they run across a Christian or a religious person, that's what we all in this room are. We are religious people. We are very prideful and arrogant and selfish, okay, as religious people. So anytime somebody's going to come back with a combative response, well, you're taking that scripture out of context. That's not what that means. I know the original Greek, and it means blah, blah, blah.
And that's prideful.
They would immediately, well, you know, I think you need to repent of your attitude, dude. Yeah.
That's what they would say.
They would just, yeah, they'd come at you with that.
They just judge me.
Yeah.
So, what's
you got to remember, they're saved and you're not.
That.
And until you change.
So they basically believe in 100% works.
Yeah.
Because
they will not tell you that. They will tell you, well, you're doing this out of love of Christ. I mean, you need to evangelize because that's what Christ would have you do. And that's what
they don't have the authority to say that if I don't read my Bible daily and I don't pray daily and I don't evangelize daily, that I am not a Christian. I don't have a relationship with God, that I'm not going to heaven.
Right.
And they believe purely that they have the authority to do that. Everyone grab a weapon.
Can you deal with those kind of problems? Like, if you came at it with like, excuse me, if you came at it with like asking a question, like, well, can you show me where that principle comes from? Like, as far as like Matthew 18, where that comes from? Like, can you show me what that means? Rather, is asking a question not like a, well, I know what it is, let me tell you.
I think they have like, over 100 scriptures that they use, these first principle studies. They would take you to one of those scriptures. And they will just continuously use just those scriptures. Now, yeah, there are other verses in the Bible, but they'll take you to those main ones. And they seem to always kind of harp on just those passages.
But like that one specifically, like if you came at it in the approach of asking,
I think if you honestly and try to muster as much humility as possible, it's still just
they're going to see it.
They've got their program that they're trying to, their agenda they're trying to get across.
So they pretty much don't believe in grace. So that's what it's saying.
They usually refer to grace as cheap grace, which is a term that Dietrich Bonhoeffer uses. But grace, it's just not. It's not there. It's,
you should tell them.
So do they believe in costly grace? If they're going to
okay, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, with the whole being prideful and knowing Scripture, then they're saying Jesus is prideful whenever he answered questions to all the people in Scripture and proved to them that he knows the Scripture perfectly. So he's prideful. Jesus, the perfect man.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good.
I mean, it just has no foundation at all.
Which is why it's wrong.
That's why it's
I'm sorry if that's being.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
I'll stop.
There's a second method that they use to retain membership besides threatening your eternal salvation. Is the belief that you'll get deeper in sin and struggles than you were before you were saved. Okay. When you're going through the studies, one of the latter studies of the first principle studies is they have you make a list. It's a sin list, okay, in which you list every sin that you've committed, All right, it's their way of getting you to get.
Why is law?
The word is cut to the heart. The phrase is cut to the heart. It's from Acts chapter.
Oh, we got a longer list. We've been
2.
around longer, bro.
All right. But you know, if you were to hand in, you know, like a one-page list, they would say, you know, you're not
Mine's a
being
multi-volume work.
yeah, you're not being very, you know, open here, you know.
When I was 3.
Yeah, exactly. You need, you know. And 2 of the verses they use with this passage of 2 passages he uses, Proverbs 26 verse 11, as a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. So, you know, when you think about leaving the church and you make this announcement that which is a bad move when you're thinking about leaving, and you don't announce it, okay? You know, they immediately, you know, it's like kicking a beehive, you know, worst thing you want to do. You know, well, brother, if you leave, you're leaving God, you're leaving the church, and, you know, all those struggles that you had, you know, it's just going to be worse. And so you need to stay here because we can disciple you and help you, and, you know, we've got community, and they don't use the word community, but that's a new word for me. But and so you just feel like you can't leave. If you leave, then you're thinking, oh man, all the drinking and drugs and everything that I was doing before, it would just get worse. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, a third method that they use to retain your membership is used in conjunction with the first, which is that the mainline churches don't teach true discipleship. And so basically, you're going back to false teaching. You're going back to the tradition of the Pharisees. You need to stay here if you want your church. One last quote, and I'll tell you how that. Oh, you have a question. Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish your quote.
Okay. Another quote by Matt Chandler. Sorry, I'm sorry. He said some great things during the series that he was doing.
Did he used to
The
be
Hebrews
involved in the
series?
church?
No, he did not. No.
The Hebrew series?
Do not. Yeah, don't. No, he did not.
How does he know so much about it then?
No, you know,
Just
honestly,
studying
these
it?
quotes are just about other things that have really nothing related to the International Churches of Christ. It's just, I heard the quote and I was like, yeah, that's me, or yeah, that's, you know. According to Jesus, truth is not a list of rights and wrongs to be mastered. Truth is not a theological framework to be held. Truth is a man. His name's Jesus. All right. Like I said, I left in June of 2000. It was a Sunday. I just, some things were going on in my life that I was not able to just deal with. I couldn't deal with them in the church. I looked at my life, looked at my relationship with God. It wasn't changing. It wasn't growing. And I had tried everything. I had tried reading my Bible more. I had tried, and all this with getting advice. You know, well, you need to just have a longer quiet time, or you need to just pray more. And so I would pray more. Well, bro, maybe you need to fast. You know, and I would just fast more. You know, maybe you need to, you know. I did everything that I maybe needed to do, all right? Did it all. Changed everything. Nothing changed in my life. And the only option left was to change churches. Which you know, oh, you can't do that. That's not an option. Well, when you run out of things, you start thinking outside of the box. And I started thinking, you know, I'm just going to change churches. I'm just going to, something has got to be different. It can't get any worse than where I'm at right now. And, you know, to me, I counted the cost. I thought, you know, life has got to be better than what I'm living right now. And if it means leaving God and going to hell, then that's what I'm going to do. And then I realized one day, God has got to be bigger than the International Churches of Christ. He's got to be bigger than that. So I'm just going to take a leap I call